Welcome to my world, bitch.
Welcome to the 167th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast.
So arachnically paranormal.
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me, as always, is
Oscar Spector,
producer extraordinaire and podcast co-host. What the fuck word was that?
I made it up.
Arachnically. Arachnically. I love it.
And that's why I said, oh shit, right before. Because I was like, oh, I didn't think of a word.
I don't think, you've, in all these episodes, I don't think you've ever, repeated a word.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
So actually I did.
Have you?
I did. I used the same one twice, not putting it in my unchecked box in my apps, in my notes.
Oh,
so I fucked up. But that's only one fuck up.
That's all right. We'll let it go.
Yeah.
We'll let it go.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive that I have 167 episodes more with bonuses.
Well, no. I've only started this recently. I haven't done this.
Am I giving you too much credit right now?
You might be a little bit. Not it's just, Anyway, I've done this as a gag before, but it wasn't consistent until recently.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Well, what you been up to, man? It's been a month. You went to Mexico.
Yeah, actually, Mexico went to me. I folded time and space, folded it onto Chicago, and made them come to me. It was very interesting. Don't recommend it.
There's so many jokes. I'm just not going to do it.
What even is this?
People are way too sensitive these days.
Oh, okay. I don't even know where you were going. I'm just curious as a matter of, whatever. I went to Cancun for a destination wedding. We already went through this, of course. So you haven't been to one?
I have.
Wait, what?
My mom's the one who corrected me.
Wait, your mom listened to the episode and she's like, bitch, you've been to a destination wedding and you forgot about it?
I did.
Please tell me.
My best friend's wedding.
Best friend's wedding?
When remember I went to New Orleans for a destination wedding.
Oh, which friend?
Severio.
Okay, Severio.
Minister Sal.
Yeah.
For the listeners.
So his wedding, I didn't know his wedding wasn't, because I didn't go to New Orleans. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was New Orleans.
Yeah, that counts. You did it.
I did it. Yeah, he was married by the voodoo queen, Bloody Mary.
Okay,
and,
word.
The ceremony was at Muriel's Jackson Square, which is haunted.
And you forgot about this.
Fucking forgot.
You know why you forgot about it? Because you go to New Orleans all the time.
All the time, yeah.
So you must have just completed it 100%. As a regular daily or yearly vacation spot.
Yeah, 100%.
And you just confused it.
But that was my one destination.
So you did do it. Okay.
So not everybody hates me.
So not everybody hated right. And also everyone else I asked, they all said no. I never been to one until. Now, whatever, not the Cancun one.
So what happened in Cancun? Anything crazy? Any crazy Mexican stories?
No, not Mexican stories. I mean, I went to a resort in Puerto Morelos, I think it was called.
Is that the name of the hotel?
That's the name of the place.
The town?
Because, it's 40 minutes or 30 minutes from Cancun proper. It's not in Cancun, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
It's in a resort in Puerto Morelos. I think that's the name of it. I'm not great with names. But, they don't own the beaches, but they kind of have it closed off, so it seems like the resort owns the beaches, but the beaches are federal property. Anyone can go on them. But they have their own side of beach area.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. I happened to stay, so I'll give two anecdotes. One about the resort itself, my first time ever at this kind of thing, all-inclusive. No, I did not try my hardest to stay drunk all the time to make it worth it, but I did get drunk, once, and I was buzzed for most of the time.
Okay, good.
A little less than buzz. I tried to get drunk a few times. I just couldn't.
I wonder if they were watering down the drinks.
Probably, but I don't know. Some of them, you could feel they were strong. The rum and cokes were the strongest. They have coconut margarita stuff, also. That was obviously there's
resort drinks.
Yeah. A lot of pools. I had never been on an infinity pool, I don't think, until this time.
So, okay. Infinity pool.
They have rooftop infinity pool bars. No kids allowed. I was up on that motherfucker every day almost.
Any mamacitas?
No, not like that. No.
No mamacitas?
No. A lot of great mamacita bridesmaids, but they're all taken. So, like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to break up a home. What am I? Anyway, what am I, 30? I'm not. So I want to mention that I got the best room. I got the best offer at the time. And I guess they were offering their newest part of the resort during when I bought my stay.
Oh.
And I happened to have one of the best rooms that anyone else didn't have. I had this amazing tub, and I had a hammock on the patio, like on a balcony thing. It was nice.
Did your balcony overlook the ocean and stuff?
No, it didn't. It wasn't ocean view. I'm pretty sure those cost more, but it was jungle view. It was all right there.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool.
Something
really
to
cool.
see.
Yeah.
Did you see monkeys?
No, I saw a lot of trash pandas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's raccoons in Mexico?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Do they carry knives, little switchblades?
No, they don't.
Arriba, arriba.
No, they don't. Careful.
Sorry.
You're fine. Don't worry, folks. I got them. And no, but I saw them sneaking around inside every night. I would see them sneaking around the stairs because it's all outdoors almost.
Huh.
All the buildings are kind of outdoorsy. And they were sneaking around going through the trash, our trash.
I guess I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a.
And I could have sworn I saw lemurs. People were correcting me. You didn't see a lemur. I'm like, I saw something like one then. Like a lemur.
Okay, so you did see monkeys.
Oh, I did see something. Like, I don't know. Couldn't tell you what it was. I thought it was lemur-ish. Maybe a lynx or something.
Dude, it could have been a cryptid.
Couldn't tell you. A lot of lizards, too. Bunch of lizards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the wedding itself, I want to get into the wedding because it's a funny story. The one day I actually did get really toasted, really drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk enough I threw up. Is
time you do that?
the day of the wedding. So the wedding ceremony started around 5 p.m. and it went into the night, of course. So I was like, oh, I have all this time. I was up at 10, whatever. I was up at the pool. I didn't have, I wasn't a groomsman, so I didn't have any duties before the ceremony.
Oh, I see.
I was just there to enjoy the ride. So I was up and I was talking to a bunch of strangers, making up stories about myself. It was great. And they kept giving me drinks, and I kept not saying no. So by the time I got out of the water, I realized I was drunk. That's when I realized it. I went to my room to start getting kind of ready, shower and all that. I threw up a lot in the hotel room, right? I had enough time to take an hour nap, and I was surprised that I woke up in time to get ready and dress. I'm surprised I put on the correct clothes because I was still wasted.
Oh, shit.
I'm surprised that the only thing I didn't get to do was shave, but it wasn't that bad. But I still should have shaved.
Yeah.
Besides that, I didn't forget anything, surprisingly. I put on the right suit, the right pants, the right shirt. And I went down there, and everyone, the people that know me, all the friends there, they were like, are you wasted? I'm like, fuck yes, I'm wasted. So I had two of our friends babysit me, one of them in particular. And on my way to the walk-up, so the walk-up is it's like a walk-up thing that's set on the beach itself. So on both sides is the water, and you walk up to the beach. That's where all the chairs were at. That's where the ceremony was. Nice. Yeah, it was beautiful. Okay. Picturesque. On my way up to it, I threw up on the side.
You're an animal, dude.
Yeah, I threw up. No, hold on. I threw up on the side, and everyone was sorry I was going to fall into the rocks, into the water. Yeah. I didn't. I sat in the very back. Luckily, the bride was nowhere near me because she wasn't up there yet. I hadn't started yet. And then I barely remember the ceremony. Don't remember. I had to get recollections from people. In my drunken stupor, I took photos that I forgot pretty well. And I don't remember much of it, so I powered through that. There was like a little soiree before we went to the reception area in a different beach. But by the time I got there, I was fine. And I was dancing and partying and way more sober
Drunk
at the
again,
reception. No, I didn't. I didn't drink anymore.
Okay.
I did not drink. I just drank water. But I powered through it and I made my way back out of it. So I almost ruined the wedding, but I didn't.
Dude, congrats on holding it together.
I did.
That's what men do.
People were surprised.
Suck it up, and you
people were
push through
surprised that I was white knuckling through it. I'm like, I'm gonna be okay. Fuck you. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, dude.
And I did it.
The pool, the sun, the heat,
yeah,
the drinks. It'll hit you fast, man.
I guess so.
It hits.
I
fast.
fell for it.
All right, so that's story one. Story two.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You said you had two.
No, the first one was like I described my room.
Gotcha. So no wild wedding. What's the Wedding Crashers movie with Owen Wilson and the other guy?
Nobody crashed it, no. Oh, I did do something. Okay, there is a second story. This is fun. This is a one-time thing, once-in-a-lifetime thing maybe. I went snorkeling for the first time. Yeah.
That was going to be some crazy
See, okay, here's the thing. Have you? I'm sure you've done this.
Sexcapade.
You've done snorkeling, right?
A million times, yeah.
That's the thing. I've never done it.
Wow.
I've never, Jay. The last time I've seen the ocean was at least 15 years ago.
Wow.
Okay.
So I can't live that way. I can't live that way.
No, I mean
I have to see the ocean as often as possible.
That's fine. But for me, I grew up here. I grew up by a huge lake. Sure.
Well, so did I.
Yeah, but I'm saying is I grew up here. I don't know a life with an ocean. So I was out in the middle of the ocean. I was in one of the one of those reefs that they have.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of the rare reefs around there. I don't know. I was out there. It was the most terrifying fucking 2 hours of my life, Jay. I spent a legit hour completely terrified I was going to die out there.
What did you think was going to happen?
It was, what do you mean?
What was going to happen? What were you afraid of?
Dying.
From
Drowning.
what?
Drowning.
Oh, drowning.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to say a shark. No. Nothing so glamorous. I was just afraid of drowning. Dude, the water kept going into the tube, and they're like, just spit it out. I'm like, yeah, I was doing that, but then
What do you think
one of my
when-
flipper things came on unfastened, and I was freaking the fuck out because they're telling you not to stand because they don't want you touching the
Don't
reef.
touch the core. Yeah, don't touch
No,
the
I know,
core.
and I didn't. But like, I was like, there were moments where I was freaking the fuck out.
What do you think of the taste of ocean water?
I made one of the other people from the wedding party throw up because I think she swallowed too much.
That's happened to me before.
That didn't happen to me. I didn't throw up. I sucked it up. I went through it. Two of our other friends stayed behind on the boat. They couldn't do it. I was like, nah, I'm going to fucking do it. This looks terrifying, but I'll do it.
Yeah, good for
it's
you.
It's so vast, though. How do people fucking go out there all the fucking time? It's insane. You people are stupid. Anyway, so I'm never doing that again. But I was out there.
Good for you.
I was
I'm
out
proud
there.
of you for doing it, man.
It took like a 40-minute or more, maybe an hour, I don't remember, on the boat to go out far enough to be out there.
Wow.
And we saw barracuda, we saw turtles, we saw schools of fish, somebody saw a manta ray. I really wanted to see one.
Awesome.
Somebody else saw a shark. I didn't see that.
Bro, you okay? Drink some whiskey.
I will. Hold on. And, but it was fun. I don't regret it. So half of it was terrifying. The other half was pretty beautiful and cool.
Did you get photos?
No, I didn't have a bag for my phone or anything. I didn't have any setup
Gotcha.
at all. This was paid by the groom. It was like all set up in advance, day after the wedding. So that's what we did. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'd never done that before.
That's a fun story.
So to me, that's like a brand new thing. It's like going to a roller coaster for the first time, you know? But never again. Okay.
But never again.
I don't think so, man. Nah, son.
White people could have that story.
Dude, yeah, you can fucking have it. There's a reason why people drowned in that submarine thing 3 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah. No, thank you.
Are you talking about
Yeah, the rich
the
people
Ocean
thing.
Gate?
Yeah, that one.
God.
There's a reason they're all white. Fucking crazy. They're all crazy.
Oh, man.
They're all nuts. Anyway.
Great.
Yeah, roughly those are two stories.
You showed me some pictures. The pictures look great. Look beautiful.
I did? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you did. So I'm glad you had a good time.
If you had my Snapchat, you would have seen the whole thing.
I don't do all that.
Yeah, just saying. Your wife did. I think she has my
Did she?
Snapchat. Yeah.
Good for her.
And she didn't show you any of them? Damn, she don't care.
No, we don't talk. Fuck.
So yeah, that's roughly the escapades.
That's great. I think it's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
Glad you had
No crazy sex
Glad you're
things
safe. Yeah, I
happen.
thought you were going to
No.
have like quadruple sums and
No.
'cause the way you get down.
The way I try to get down is different from the way I actually get down. But no, nothing like that even remotely. I didn't think about it, honestly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was just, yeah.
I kept thinking, I'm like, man, Oscar's probably in Mexico
I just-
having him some sex right
I just
now.
wanted to get drunk.
I guess not.
I think the most closest I was the first day I was there. I was in Cancun, the city proper, because I have a cousin that lives there. We stayed with him. Not stayed with him. Sorry,
Oh,
we
that's
were at a
right, yeah.
B&B
Yeah.
nearby, and we were in the city for the first day. Fucking hot as fuck. We walked everywhere too. We didn't have a car available, which is fine. We didn't mind it. But like, yeah. But that was the only time I was like meeting people more.
Okay.
But yeah, well, it was fine. Like, it's a regular city, pretty hot, a lot of palm trees.
I was going to ask you, what is Cancun like the city of?
So it's like
is it nice?
it's like Vegas in the sense that very touristy, a lot of touristy stuff. Like a lot of like vendors on the street. They have a whole areas that could be a park for another city is just vendor city. Like
Oh,
little
wow.
vendors of anything, tequila to handbags to t-shirts, whatever it
kinda
is. Yeah. Everything's so cheap there, dude. I bought, because I didn't bring my vape. I was like, I'm going to smoke cigarettes for this trip. I smoked a lot, but I think I bought like 2 or 3 packs plus a water plus a toothpaste because I forgot my toothpaste when I came over. all like $20.
U.S.
Yeah.
20. Man. 2 packs of cigarettes is more than $20 these
One
days.
pack in the city is $19.
No.
In the city. 18 something? Yeah.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. I'm sitting.
When I quit smoking, I think it was $8 a pack. 8 or 9.
You quit that long ago?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, wow.
Good for me.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah,
I
they've been
just
steadily increasing it now. You've been...
Almost $20 for a single pack, bro.
I could buy almost a box of them. I actually did. I went to the duty-free store on my way out on the airport.
Yeah, of course.
I got a carton for $53.
$53.
Yeah. They'd be like $300 in the city.
No shit.
I'm not kidding. Well, maybe 200, but yeah, something like that.
Fuck
It's a long...
I'm so glad I quit.
It's a lot of money.
That's nuts.
I guess maybe 200 is closer. Yeah, but either way, a lot more.
Wow.
So I bought it. I figured I saw some or use them here and there. Yeah. What?
I'll sell some,
Yeah. Why
running a
not?
racket.
Yeah. What's the big deal?
You can't do that.
Have you
That's
seen
why.
Goodfellas? Remember that scene when the cows come over? Like, how much do you want?
Of course I know.
Yeah. You know what? He's like,
Dude.
he's like, it's okay. He's like, no, it's not okay.
He's like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Right.
No, it's not. Dude, I just had 100 proof whiskey come through my nose.
It's not that.
Okay, I'll sell some.
Yeah, I'll sell some.
Whatever.
It's a big deal.
Fuck.
People are desperate, bro. Hard times.
Good times. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love you.
Aw.
I don't have anything as exciting. I had a birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I know you don't
forgot.
think it's a big deal,
You
but
did
people...
forget. I appreciate
Oh, I
that.
would never remember your birthday.
Yeah, no,
if I don't have
that's good.
social
I
media to
appreciate
remind me or you, I would never remember.
Yeah, it was literally yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to say my age.
Do you want me to tell her?
No.
I will. It's a dividend of 12.
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah. It is the square root of, oh, fuck, everything hurts.
Yeah,
My
that's right.
eyesight's going.
How's your kneecaps?
They're fine.
Yeah, okay.
They're fine. Yeah, so that's all I got. That's all I got.
No, you're fine. It's not nothing.
Wow.
It's not nothing. And you're having a nice dinner tomorrow. You're doing a whole thing. You're
Yeah,
good.
I have a
You're-
nice dinner with my
This is
wife.
your weekend. This is your birthday weekend.
Yeah, my wife took me out to a
was me, my
beautiful
bad.
steak meal.
Yeah.
Kids came, little gifts and stuff, very nice. And then, yeah, we're doing a little something extra tomorrow, which would be Saturday
That's cool.
of this recording, the 23?
Yeah, I never remember my
24th?
parents' birthdays either. So
Really? Okay,
don't feel bad.
I don't feel so bad.
Don't feel bad. I forget everybody's.
All right.
Don't feel bad.
All right.
The only ones that commit to memory is if I'm in a relationship, I'll remember the partner's, birth. That's really it. That's it. I know my families because I grew up with them. I wish I didn't remember. By my families, I mean my brothers. Sorry, not my mom or anything.
You don't remember your mom's birthday?
I think it's in September.
Oh.
My dad's in something November. I don't
Holy
remember.
shit, dude.
I don't remember.
Google
that.
Calendar. Google Calendar. That's what I do.
It's okay. They'll tell me.
But yeah, other than that, it's no other news to really report on.
Wait on. That's okay.
That's all
I
right,
think I
isn't
said enough for both of us this week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should we take a break?
I think we should.
Should we take a break?
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. ChicagoGhostPodcast.com. Let's take a break. Listeners, welcome back to the show. Well, the lights are turned down low, the ceremonial candle is lit, and the drinks are flowing.
Tink.
Let's start this show.
All right, Nicolas Cage.
They can't see what I'm doing behind the
He's
mic.
he's gesticulating wildly.
Emoting.
That's what I said.
Get into the vibe, get into the groove. We didn't talk about what whiskey we're drinking.
No, we did not.
We just kind of cut to break.
That's what you did. You were having an aneurysm when you had to break.
I was. So we are drinking a nice 10-year Whistle Pig rye. Mm-hmm. It's a Hunnet proof. Mm-hmm. Hunnet. 100.
I know what you meant.
And it's good. I like. I'm not disliking this. What do you think?
I'll drink it, but I'm not a big rye guy.
Yeah, I know you don't like rye. I know. Listen.
I'm listening.
I don't drink Whistle Pig often at all. Where I drink it, where I was turned on to it, and where I continue to drink it, is at this nice hotel on the beach in New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Okay.
That's my place to have Whistle Pig Old Fashions, and that's where I picked up this Whistle Pig thing.
Must be
it's the
nice.
It's the only place I drink it. But I grabbed this 10-year bottle. I'm like, oh, let's try it. And I've had it sitting on
Wait,
the
this
shelf.
bottle is 10-year?
Yeah, it's a 10-year-old. Just shut up. Yeah, so it's been sitting on my shelf for a couple years, to be honest. We finally cracked it tonight, and I enjoy it. I like it. It's not as spicy as other ryes we've had that you don't like for sure.
Yeah, I would say there are worse ryes I've had. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But it's good. It'll do well. It'll warm me up. You know, it's been cold lately. Again, I hate it.
It has. Even though I'm opening the pool.
You know, I mean, I went from like heat, humid, hot ass fucking heat. And then I came to Chicago, and it was like, oh, it's nice out here. So it looks like I thought I came back in a good time.
And then it's like, nope.
Back down to 40s and 30s. We went down to almost 20s one night. Yeah, I'm like, God damn it.
It's been bad.
It's late May. Can we come on?
The other thing I wanted to mention quickly is just a thank you to all our new Instagram followers. We've been picking up Instagram followers like crazy lately. So thank you to everybody. We appreciate it.
The grams.
And that's at Chicago Ghosts.
I should probably follow us.
I mean, after fucking 10 years, yeah, you probably should.
Are you saying we've had Instagram for 10 years?
8 years, maybe.
Wow.
Like that. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, you probably should.
Probably should.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
I got a crazy one tonight.
I know nothing. Jon Snow.
I was just going to say that.
I beat you to it. I read your mind.
It's a long one.
And we've had longer.
We have. In tonight's episode, we're plunging into the dark underbelly of New York City in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s.
Okay.
Riotous decades that set the stage and helped fuel the horrific crimes we'll be discussing tonight. Against a backdrop of urban decay and desperation, a ruthless predator emerged from the shadows created by screaming neon lights.
Okay, Al Pacino wasn't that bad.
Join us as we delve into the harrowing tale of Richard Francis Cottingham, also known as the Times Square Killer, or the Times Square Ripper, or the Torso Killer.
I know this one.
Have you heard of him?
I heard it, yeah. I wouldn't say I know details.
He's a nasty fuck, and he's kind of a lesser-known serial killer. I don't know why, but this isn't a household name.
Well, that moniker, Times Square Killer, I've heard before. So I have.
There's been documentaries and
to the extent that I know very little about this until we do it on the show.
Yeah,
as I'm so pedestrian about it. I have heard of this guy. And
maybe this is so. As we delve into the horrifying crimes of Richard Cottingham, who was an active serial killer between 1967 and 1980, so a good stretch there.
Yeah.
It's crucial to understand that he was not an isolated monster. And I think this is the problem. Though Cottingham's crimes stand on their own, they unfolded against a backdrop of nationwide horror. For anyone living through it, turning on the evening news or opening the newspaper meant confronting a relentless stream of brutality. From the 1960s through the 1980s, the United States was gripped by a terrifying surge of serial violence. It was a terrifying era. The Manson family murders shattered the idealism of the Summer of Love in 1969. Simultaneously, the Zodiac Killer stalked California, killing at random and taunting the media with cryptic letters well into the 1970s. Over in New York, David Berkowitz, infamously known as the Son of Sam, unleashed fear during the summers of 1976 and 1977. On the West Coast, Angelo Buono Jr. and Kenneth Bianchi, the Hillside Stranglers, abducted and murdered young women in Los Angeles between 77 and 78. Ted Bundy left a multi-state trail of death from Washington to Florida in 1974 to 78, while Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, was targeting vulnerable women in Washington state from 1982 well into the late 1990s. So this is why I think, Cottingham kind of gets lost in that.
Yeah, a lot of people hail these decades were the worst, man. I mean,
terrifying.
Obviously before this too, but not much before because of all the turmoil, political upheavals. How close, almost like coming face to face, so close to global nuclear war. fucked up something in people in a certain population, 1%, and just drove them crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, that's how close we came. Fuck everyone. Let's kill people. Like, that's how it feels, you know?
It's something. Something was in the water that...
1962, right? That's Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that. I think it broke people. And people were like,
that's a good point.
When the world's mortality was taken into account that day or that week, whatever.
Like, oh shit, we could be wiped out that easy?
Yeah, that easy. Fuck everyone. It's cool.
What does it matter?
Some people broke.
Right?
Some people broke. What are you going to do? You know, this reminds me of something offhand a little bit, but not too much, is that the latest, not to get into it, the latest Final Destination movie came out. A lot of brutal kills, a lot of brutal murdering. And there's no serial killer, unless you count death as a serial killer. But I heard an interview with the directors. Right?
Yeah.
And in it, they were explaining how they were talking about how they do focus groups. They show the movie to a lot of people, versions of it, so they can tweak it to, maximize their profits. That's how it works. Sure. And apparently, this latest version of the Final Destination movie, more women wanted more gore.
Wow.
Like, it's unprecedented. All the other movies was way less. Like, usually guys or different groups of people. But younger women or women in general wanted all the brutality, all the gore. They wanted it added in. They didn't want bloodless stuff. They wanted blood.
I wonder what that means.
And I was thinking about it, and like I think it comes from, because it's been like 12 years since the last Final Destination. And in that time period, and before that, of course, I think a surge of serial killer podcasts, serial killer documentaries has exploded so much. I mean, we have more in 1 year than we've had, I think, all of history, it feels like, in serial killer material.
Yeah.
Like on Netflix alone.
And
not to mention Hulu and HBO and all of them. They all have their own.
I think major consumers of that are women.
And I was going to say, most of them are women. You think there's a lot of memes and jokes regarding how women are like doing something playful, like knitting something or watching TV. Not watching TV, that makes sense. Washing their dishes or driving a car, and they're listening to the most horrific thing. And on the outside, they look completely cheerful and happy, but in their ears, they're listening to descriptions of horrible murders.
What does that mean?
And I feel like that's a correlation there.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Ladies, I don't know. Tell us, what do you think? What is driving your passion, your obsession with true crime?
It may explain our Instagram followers.
It could be. Let us know. Contact at chicagogoespodcast.com.
Yeah.
Nice little feed in there for them.
You're welcome.
Thank you. To understand how Richard Cottingham was able to operate undetected for so long, again, 1967 to 1980, we got to examine the New York City of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, a city that's drastically different from the one we know today. Now, during these decades, New York was teetering on the edge, plagued by social unrest, economic collapse, and skyrocketing crime. It was a city unraveling, and that chaos created the perfect cover for predators like Cottingham. The 1960s were marked by upheaval. The civil rights movement fueled waves of protests, strikes, and violent confrontations. In 1964, the Harlem riots erupted, followed by the New York City riot of 1967. Then, in 1969, the Stonewall riots, an explosive response to police brutality.
And the quiet riots.
Come on, feel the noise. Come on.
Sorry.
The Stonewall riots, an explosive response to police brutality, sparked the modern LGBTQ plus rights movement. These events painted a portrait of a city grappling with deep racial tension and social change. Estimates from race-related unrest during the 60s include between 50 and 300 deaths, more than 1,000 injuries, and over 4,000 arrests. Property damage exceeded $45 million at that time, which is $440 million in today's money. The climate of volatility, couldn't get that out.
You got it.
And fragmentation helped obscure Cottingham's crimes as they began.
Wow.
The 1970s plunged New York into what many consider its darkest era. Crumbling infrastructure, graffiti-covered trains and buildings, and constant emergency sirens defined daily life. Entire neighborhoods in the Bronx and Upper Manhattan were reduced to ruins by arson. Times Square became a center for sex work and drugs, while Central Park, beautiful today, gained a reputation for violent crime, robberies, rape, and even murder. Crime surged to record highs. In 1970, the Hard Hat Riot saw construction workers attack student anti-war protesters in broad daylight. The Attica prison uprising in 71 further highlighted the system's collapse.
And Serpico.
Serpico, yeah, Serpico.
Attica.
In 1975, 2 separate bombings, one at Francie's Tavern that killed 4, and another at LaGuardia Airport that killed 11, rocked the city. The later remains unsolved to this day. I never knew there was a bombing like that at LaGuardia Airport. But yeah, 70s were crazy. In 77, the infamous blackout left the city in chaos for 25 hours. There were 3 deaths, over 1,000 fires, 430 injured police officers, and thousands arrested for looting. All this occurred as the Son of Sam serial killings, again from 1976 to 77, gripped the public with fear. Spike Lee's movie, The Summer of Sam, would later capture that raw panic and paranoia.
Yeah, and the heat of it too.
That's what it was about.
That's what I loved about that movie.
Me
Not
too.
necessarily the serial killer stuff in it, but the stuff about New York.
Yeah.
That's what he nailed, I think.
It was great.
In that movie. It also reminded me, remember that time in New York, also Chicago, I think, around pandemic, don't ask me the year, but recently in our history, there was a big outage in New York. Do you remember this?
I think I do.
It lasted like a couple days, maybe a few days. I don't remember exactly.
God.
And remember how people were panicking on the news and politicians, I don't know who, people with mouthpieces. They were all panicking about riots, probably akin to this history you're talking about.
Right.
And nobody did anything.
They stayed classy that time.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, because the thing is that's the change. That's part of I think, a positive change from that decade to this decade. A little bit.
That era
Obviously,
to
I'm not
this
saying
era,
there's no
yeah.
violence anywhere, but I'm just saying that those extremes don't, I'm not saying we'll never come back, because they totally could come back any minute. They haven't been back, is my point.
Thankfully.
Yeah, so everyone's so worried and nothing happened.
Yeah, it does sound, you're right, it does sound familiar.
It sounds
I
a
feel
little
like
familiar.
people trapped in subways.
And trust me, if something violent, crazy had occurred during that time, a couple of years back, we would remember. We would be like, oh yeah, I remember that, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's easier to forget something that didn't happen. So
Didn't turn out as
Right.
bad. It's
Right.
easier to forget. Yeah.
it's like saying like, oh, what's on the news today? Oh, apparently this just in, everything's fine. Nobody wants to hear that. Everyone will forget it. So yeah,
Well, if it bleeds, it leads, right?
right, 100%.
The 1980s continued the city's downward spiral. Violent crime soared, setting grim records for murder, rape, burglaries, and auto theft. In the year 1980 alone, New York reported 1,814 homicides. That same year, Mark David Chapman murdered John Lennon in front of the Dakota on Manhattan's Upper West Side. The New York Times would call 1980 the worst year of crime in city history.
Still, you think? Do you think still?
As of that time.
No, I mean, you think it's still the worst year? I mean, to this day.
Oh, I don't know. Things started improving then. I mean,
Yeah, yes, but also like, have we?
is it the
We
same?
tend to
I don't know,
sensationalize.
but-
Also, I wonder if those statistic has been sensationalized to make it seem that current years or later on years have been more worse for crime, even if it wasn't. You always think of that because I feel like it's hard to believe everything.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it was able to be left behind in 1980 and improved there. But unfortunately, no, not yet.
Like that was their
It's
peak,
going to
guys.
get a little
Let's
worse.
not get worse.
It's going to get a little worse.
Right.
But again, this was the landscape in which Richard Cottingham hunted. A fractured, chaotic city distracted by wave after wave of crisis. In a world so overwhelmed by violence and disorder, Cottingham's horrific acts could hide in plain sight. Residents were fleeing the city in droves as government mismanagement brought New York to the brink of bankruptcy. Budget cuts led to a reduced police force, just as the crack cocaine epidemic unleashed an unprecedented wave of addiction and violence. New Yorkers were warned against riding the subway, and many, entire neighborhoods were deemed literal no-go zones.
That's funny.
Times Square became a magnet for vice, a place where the dazzling glow of neon lights bellied the darkness lurking beneath. What had once been a symbol of New York's vibrant entertainment district transformed into a grim theater of exploitation and desperation. Peep shows, adult cinemas, and sex shops dominated every block, while drug dealers operated openly, catering to a steady stream of addicts. The streets were overrun with lost souls, runaways, sex workers, the homeless, and the mentally ill, many of whom had nowhere else to go. It was a place where hope flickered like a dying bulb and danger was constant. Violence was routine, with muggings, assaults, and even murders occurring just steps from flashing marquees. For many, Times Square offered a last resort, a place to disappear, to numb the pain, or to hustle for survival. When I think about these eras in New York's history, scenes from iconic movies instantly come to my mind, and see if you agree. Moments that kind of truly capture the essence of what it was like to live there during those times. Take the scene from, and you know I gotta do it, The Exorcist, where Father Damien Karras visits his mother's tenement apartment on 48th Street. Outside, these impoverished children play in the shells of abandoned, burnt-out cars, painting a haunting picture of urban decay. Do you remember that scene?
I think so, yeah. It's not, like, super clear.
Yeah.
What I think of is HBO show The Deuce.
The Deuce. Oh, yeah, I've seen one or two. I never got into it, but yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
It's all about New York during that era, and that's specifically that almost entire...
Slimy, scummy...
Yeah, well, yeah, one of them works at a dive bar right off one of the streets there. There's a lot of subway scenes and...
Yeah.
So like a lot of... Well, it's not just about the murder or anything like that, but it has criminal elements, has the mob in it, has a bunch of stuff in it.
Well, how about this one? Martin Scorsese brought New York's forgotten corners to life in Mean Streets. I love Mean Streets. The dark alleys, dilapidated apartments, and seedy bars weren't just backdrops. They were almost literal characters in their own right. These gritty, unpolished settings revealed parts of the city that would never make it into a tourist guidebook. For me, these films perfectly encapsulate the raw and unvarnished reality of New York during that era.
Have you seen Panic in Needle Park?
In which Cottingham operated. I haven't. Is that with De Niro?
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't.
It was filmed in the 70s, I think.
I'm sure.
It's about
sure it was.
addicts living
probably in Central Park.
Yeah. Panic in Needle Park. Oh, no, in Needle Park. I think might be another park. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I know that's...
I'll bet you it's either...
It might be the same.
Central Park or some section of Central Park they called Needle Park.
You're probably right. I couldn't tell you, yeah.
But I'll tell you, there's probably no better example than another Scorsese film, Taxi Driver, from 1976, starring Robert De Niro. In Taxi Driver, De Niro's character, Travis Bickle, describes New York as a sinful nightmare full of animals, terrible people bent on destroying innocence, and as an open sewer filled with filth and scum. These are quotes from the movie. As Travis Bickle glides through Times Square in his yellow cab, he passes a glut of pimps, prostitutes, go-go bars, sex shops, peep shows, adult theaters, and porno shops. The very symbols of the city's decay and the symbols of Times Square itself. Bickle's New York is the New York that birthed Richard Cottingham, the Times Square killer. Someone who may be responsible for upwards of 100 murders of teenage girls, runaways, and prostitutes between the 60s and 80s in New York and New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey
100.
also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Travis Bickle is the pre-Rorschach.
Rorschach from Taxi.
Taxi? No, Rorschach from Watchmen.
Fuck did I say Taxi?
I don't know.
Wasn't
Did you
there
mean
a Rorschach
Watchmen?
in Taxi?
The show?
Horseshack. Welcome back, Cotter.
I meant Rorschach.
Well, I said Horseshack, and that's Welcome Back, Cotter. Though Richard Cottingham may not be a household name, his heinous crimes left a lasting impact on New York City. This relatively unknown serial killer etched a permanent mark on the city's history, instilling fear, reshaping perceptions of safety, and prompting a critical reevaluation of support systems for vulnerable populations. His brutal acts continue to resonate within New York's collective memory, a grim reminder of the dark chapters in its past. Known for his ability to blend seamlessly into the chaotic streets, Cottingham's methods were as chilling as they were calculated. He focused on the Times Square area of New York, which, again, was known for its illicit activities and the high chance of encountering female runaways and prostitutes and the homeless. Cottingham would lure his victims into secluded areas or into shitty hotel rooms, and that's when his vicious work would commence. And since he deliberately preyed on the vulnerable and the marginalized, an additional layer of difficulty was added to any kind of police investigation. As we talked about in our Long Island serial killer episodes, it could take a while for someone to realize that these types of women are actually missing. Do you remember the terms, the missing, or the less dead? Or NHI, no humans involved? Unfortunately, prostitutes and runaways are typically not a high priority for police when they are discovered missing. They gambled and lost. And it's not known how many women Cottingham actually killed. As I said, some estimates place his body at a body count at 100 or more. However, we can confirm that Cottingham's victim count is at least 16 women, not including intended victims that miraculously survived, although not unscathed. It's also speculated that his killing grounds could span many more states besides New York and New Jersey. So I want to get into Cottingham's early years a bit, even though after all this research, there's nothing really remarkable there. No aha moment.
Well, did he go to California?
No.
Okay.
No indication. But there's no aha moments in his childhood to explain why this guy turned out the way he did. Okay? Cottingham was born on November 25th, 1946, in the Bronx, New York, the first of 4 children, and soon after his birth, the family relocated to New Jersey, where Cottingham spent most of his childhood. Overall, he had a stable and comfortable upbringing in a fairly well-off Catholic household. Now, Cottingham faced some challenges with making friends during his grammar school and high school years, but that's not abnormal. He was considered handsome by some, but he had poor eyesight, which made sports difficult for him to play. But nothing tragic with that either. But he apparently found solace and purpose in joining his high school's track team. I don't know. I would never do it. I think that's psychotic myself, but...
Yeah, you're not much of a runner.
No, not
Me
unless
either,
the police
by
are
the way.
behind me.
Right.
There's no known sexual abuse, killing of animals, bedwetting, starting fires, nothing like that in his past. I read one article that said Cottingham discovered and enjoyed bondage porn as a teen, but does that tell us he's going to become one of the worst serial killers one day? No, of course not.
No.
After graduating high school in '64, Cottingham wasted no time and immediately started working as a computer operator at Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, where his father was vice president. And he also took computer courses during this time to further enhance his knowledge in the field, which would serve him well when he eventually worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield in New York, a career he kept all the way up until he was arrested in 1980. Now, you can't make this shit up, I'm telling you. In this crazy twist of fate, while Cottingham worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield, he actually worked in an office with another brutal serial killer we covered on this podcast.
Oh.
Do you remember Rodney Alcala?
Yeah, of
The
course.
dating game killer?
Yeah.
The notorious child rapist and serial killer we covered in episode 159? Of course you do.
Last year.
Yeah, Cottingham worked with this asshole. Now, there's no indication that either of these two jagoffs knew of each other's proclivities or killed together or anything like that, but still, what are the chances?
Yeah.
What are the chances?
They walk by in the hallway. Something with this guy.
Yeah, I don't trust this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I don't trust this fucking guy.
Like, stay away from that one. That one's mine. I call her dibs.
Weird. It's weird. It's just... do you call that serendipity? I don't think you call that serendipity.
No, it's just coincidence, I guess. You think they piss next to each other in the same bathroom, like Saul? Like,
I don't know. Ugh.
I can see a skit about that.
I don't. That would be some funny. You could come up with some funny shit from
Maybe,
that. I'm sure.
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Anyway, in the May of 1970, Cottingham married his wife. He was married. And they had 3 kids. Blair in 1973, Scott in 75, and Jenny in 76. And the fact that this guy was married, it's not that strange. A lot of serial killers actually had wives and kids. And they held down normal jobs, just like Cottingham. Think of John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, or Robert Hansen, the butcher baker, both of whom we covered on this show, or Dennis Rader, BTK. Now, it's mentioned in numerous articles that after the birth of their 3rd child, Jenny, Cottingham completely stopped having sex with his wife. He neglected her, and he basically stopped providing physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially as a husband should. So, in 1979, Janet filed for divorce, which was finalized in 81 after Cottingham was caught for being the Times Square killer. But again, aside from spousal neglect and some bondage porn, there were no overt signs of this absolute monster Cottingham was or would become. And this is exactly what made Cottingham so terrible, his chameleon-like ability to mask and blend in.
Was he charismatic? Oh, we don't know that?
I never really heard him described as charismatic. No. No. He was utterly normal. And there's a good New York Times quote in here later. I don't remember. I'll get to it. But the way they describe him, they're like, he can't be this because he's just so normal. Like,
he's like designed to be forgotten about right after you meet him?
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, according to Peter Vronsky, an author immersed in chronicling Cottingham's story and who conducted multiple interviews with him, Cottingham was like a lycanthrope, a werewolf, a shapeshifter, a murderous creature driven by an insatiable bloodlust. During the day, Cottingham portrayed the image of a devoted family man living in Lodi, New Jersey. Pause. Side note, you know who else was from Lodi, New Jersey? Yeah!
Me?
Glenn Danzig. Glenn Danzig.
Who the hell's that?
Fucking Glenn Danzig. Misfits?
Oh.
Danzig?
I don't know the names of people. I know the bands.
Oh, my God.
I don't know the names.
Glenn Anzalone, that's his real name.
Sure.
But Glenn Danzig. Lodi is where one of my all-time favorite bands was formed, the Misfits. But anyway, Richard Cottingham from Lodi, New Jersey. During the day, he was seen as a loving husband and dedicated father to 3 children. Neighbors often spotted him strolling through the streets with his kids through the neighborhood, projecting this aura of politeness. As I mentioned, he worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield in Manhattan as a mainframe computer operator, which was a highly skilled, high-paying job at the time, mind you. So outwardly, he's just this totally normal-looking, polite, unassuming, successful family man, a suit and tie guy. But as night descended, Cottingham underwent a sinister transformation, and the werewolf emerged. Under the cover of night, Cottingham, the serial sexual murderer, hunted his prey. And once caught, he would totally dominate and control the prey while inflicting as much pain and suffering as possible. The more his victim suffered, the more aroused Cottingham would get. And sexual pleasure and violence, such a dangerous combination.
Yes.
Now, what's really crazy is that Cottingham's crimes went undetected for so long, meaning police just could not piece together who exactly was responsible for the bodies being left all over New York and New Jersey. You see, back in those days, information sharing between police departments, especially between police departments in different states, was rudimentary at best and non-existent at worst. And there were no centralized databases to pull information from.
No.
Forensic technology and techniques were limited in their capabilities, and DNA analysis was not available yet. This posed a significant challenge in collecting and analyzing potential evidence left at crime scenes, hindering the identification of Cottingham as the Times Square killer. And like it or not, as much as police departments like to say they all play well together, in reality, they're all pretty tribal. This is our case. We're going to solve it. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine it.
Yeah, and Cottingham knew this. He's
it's like
not
rival
dumb.
high schools or something. It's
Exactly.
ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he knew this, and he was smart, and he was completely unassuming. In fact, the New York Daily News would describe Cottingham as, quote, too ridiculously normal to be a serial killer, end quote. That was the quote I was referring to. Yeah. Too ridiculously normal.
It's the ridiculously that throws me.
It's fantastic. What a quote.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a great quote. Yet that's exactly what he was. He's a serial killer. Another thing that made Cottingham difficult to detect is the fact that he hunted where he was most comfortable. New Jersey, where he grew up and lived, and New York, where he worked. God, who does that sound like that we covered recently?
What's his name again?
Rex Heuermann.
The
ogre,
yeah.
right?
I forgot his name, yeah.
And let's not forget, as I mentioned earlier, due to politics and financial constraints at the time, the NYPD was already severely strained. So now that we have some insight into who this asshole was, I'd like to go through each of Cottingham's known victims. And again, keep in mind, when it comes to the victim count, Cottingham's exact count is unknown. He claims to have killed 100 or more, and some investigators believe him. Now, I should have maybe mentioned this earlier, but be sure to check the show notes, as I left tons of photos there, so you can put faces to the names we're going to talk about. The victims, Cottingham, there's some other stuff in there. I like to try to keep it interactive.
Yeah.
So I left photos of Cottingham if you really want to see what this fuck looks like. But it's believed that Cottingham killed his first victim, Nancy Shiava Vogel, a 29-year-old married mother of two, on October 27th, 1967. On that day, Nancy told her family and friends that she was going to go play bingo at a local church in Little Ferry, New Jersey, just across the river from Manhattan and Times Square. Now, as you might guess, Vogel never returned home. It was later revealed that Nancy somehow crossed paths with Richard Cottingham, who was a resident of Little Ferry at the time. On October 30th, 1967, the day before Halloween, two young schoolgirls saw what they thought was a mannequin inside a parked car. Turns out it was Nancy Vogel. She was found in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, in the back seat of her own vehicle. She was nude, with her hands and feet bound. Nancy had been severely beaten, and it was determined that she died by strangulation and blunt force trauma.
Was the rest of her injuries like pre-death or posthumously? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Post-mortem, I meant to say.
Yeah. Police theorized Nancy knew her killer due to the fact that there were signs she was having sex in the vehicle, but there were no signs of rape, and because her clothes were found folded neatly under her on the seat of her car. Vogel's disappearance and subsequent murder remained unsolved for 43 years.
Really?
Until Cottingham actually confessed to it in 2010.
Even though by that time he was already saying, oh, I did 100.
Yeah. Yeah. He finally confessed. 2010. That's a long time not to truly know what happened to your loved one. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's a theme throughout this story, is this massive gap of time where families don't know what the fuck is going on. You know? Next, we have Diane Cusick. In February of 1968, Cottingham murdered 23-year-old Diane Cusick, a dance teacher and mother. On the night of February 15th, 1968, Cusick called her parents to tell them she was heading to the mall to purchase some new dance shoes. But tragically, as you could guess, she never returned home. On February 16th, 1968, so 2 days after Valentine's Day, Cusick was discovered, beaten, raped, and bound with duct tape in the backseat of her own car. Again, this theme there, right? Which was located in the parking lot of Valley Stream's Green Acres Mall in Valley Stream, New York. Authorities believe that after leaving her job at a children's dance school, and while making that stop at the mall to buy new dance shoes, Cottingham, impersonating a security guard or a cop, followed Diane to her car. He accused Cusick of theft and then forcefully overpowered the petite woman. This is the theory. The medical examiner's finding indicated that Diane suffered severe facial and head injuries and died from suffocation. Additionally, defensive wounds were observed on her hand, so she fought this piece of shit. Heartbreakingly, it was her own parents that found her car and her body in that mall parking lot. Cottingham didn't confess to this murder until 2022, just a few years ago.
Wow.
That family had to wait nearly 55 years for closure. Could you imagine?
Her parents are probably, no offense, but probably gone by then, too.
Yeah, that I would guess.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Just by law, logistics.
Right.
Just by logic. Wow.
This one's young. On July 17th, 1968, Cottingham ambushed and killed Jackie Harp, aged just 13, while she was walking home from her school's drum and bugle practice in Midland Park, New Jersey. When Cottingham couldn't persuade Jackie to get in the car with them, smart girl, he drove the car in front of Jackie, like effectively cutting her off, like you see in the movies, you know?
Yes.
Cottingham then got out of the car, dragged Jackie into some nearby bushes, and he killed her. She was badly beaten and had been strangled with the leather sling of the band flag she was carrying on her way home.
So like an improvised.
Yeah.
This one's seemingly more improvised than the last two.
Yeah, he's using whatever she was
Whatever's
carrying.
around
sees
in
her
the
on
bushes,
street.
right? There's no
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Jackie Harp was Cottingham's youngest victim, and her murder went unsolved until 2017 when Cottingham confessed. From 1968 to 2017, unsolved. Next, we have Irene Blase. She was just 18 years old when Cottingham had abducted her from the Hackensack bus terminal in Hackensack, New Jersey, on April 7, 1969. The next day, Irene's body was found laying face down in 4 feet of water in the Saddle River in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. She was partially disrobed. She was beaten and bruised. She was stabbed once through the back into the right lung, and she was strangled with the chain of a crucifix she was wearing. Cottingham admitted to murdering Irene in 2014. On July 14, 1969, Cottingham forcefully abducted a 15-year-old girl named Denise Velasca while she was on her way to a friend's house in Emerson, New Jersey. The following morning, Denise's lifeless body was discovered in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. Like a piece of trash, Cottingham callously dumped Denise's body from his car alongside a road near a cemetery. Denise had also been strangled with the very chain of the crucifix she wore. Cottingham admitted to murdering Denise in 2014.
Okay. This is like the 5th time now where I'm noticing 2 patterns. Why is he admitting to these murders at different times in his incarceration? What's with all these weird times?
Yeah. Part of this story, which I didn't really write in here, is there was a cop who kind of befriended him later in life.
Like fake befriended? Like to get information?
Yeah.
Kind of like thing?
But maybe there was a friendship there.
Right.
But
you have to love what you hate, right?
Good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
And he was convincing Cottingham to come clean on things.
But it just took him a while. Yeah. So each one took one. Wow.
Yeah.
It must have been like pulling teeth.
Could you imagine?
Because these are decades apart, some of these conventions.
Huge time gaps.
Huge time gaps. Because
So this guy
everyone's like
worked
different. Jay, called you my brother.
Forget my birthday, now you forget my name.
Dude,
okay.
I forget
The rye
everything about
whiskey.
you. Yeah, I blame the whiskey. Thank you. That's insane, though. That's dedication. That's some shit.
Yeah. No,
That's
he
for
worked
real.
them. Yep.
That's kudos to that detective, or I assume. Yeah. Wow. And second pattern is that I'm noticing that he picks younger people in New Jersey.
So far.
So far, right. Yeah. I don't know the full count, right, but it seems like it's, so far I'm theorizing a pattern, I guess.
No, great. Yeah.
And that could be because we grew up there, right?
He did, yes.
I wonder if the familiarity of going to school in New Jersey compared to seeing girls his own age and getting older and sticking to that age group as he's growing has to do with, like, he thinks of New York as, older women that he can take advantage of in New Jersey.
Because he works
and
there,
at
he's
home,
older in New York.
And at home, not so much. I wonder if that's a thing based on these couple entries. Anyway, that's it.
Wow, good. It's got you thinking. It's got the gears turning. I like it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, list continues.
Yeah.
Lorraine McGraw was a 26-year-old mother of 2 whose nude body was discovered by some hikers in the old Camp Bluefields water tower in Nyack, New York in March 1970. She'd been strangled to death. Not a lot I could find on this one, but Cottingham confessed to killing McGraw in 2022. So, yeah.
He remembers them all,
1970 to 2022. Dude, a lot of these guys do. They think about it all the time.
Yeah, they must. You're right. I mean, that's how you get off, right? Probably.
This one's fucked up, too. Mary Beth Hines. They all fucked up.
Yeah,
this one particularly gets me because she was sick. Mary Beth Hines, a 21-year-old epileptic that suffered from grand mal seizures. She vanished on May 5th, 1972, as she was traveling to a nearby dance being held specifically for epileptics. Since Mary Beth's epilepsy was rather bad with the grand mal seizures, she wasn't able to drive, which is why she took a bus to the dance. But she never arrived. She never came back home either. It's not exactly clear how, but Cottingham somehow intercepted Mary Beth while she was traveling to that dance. And sadly, her body was discovered 5 days later on May 10th, 1972, near a creek in Rockville Center, New York, which is on Long Island. Cottingham beat and strangled Mary Beth to death before dumping her body from a Long Island bridge. Cottingham confessed to Mary Beth's murder in 2022. Laverne Moy was a 23-year-old mother of 2 when Cottingham strangled her to death and then dumped her body off a bridge on Long Island. She was found in Long Island Creek on July 20th, 1972, very near where Mary Beth Hines' body was discovered a few months earlier. In fact, it's believed that Cottingham dumped Laverne's body from the same Long Island bridge from which he dumped Mary Beth Hines' body 2 months earlier.
Okay.
And just like Mary Beth, Cottingham didn't cop to this murder until 2022.
Big year for him, I guess.
Guess so. Sheila Hyman, 33 years old. She was found bludgeoned and stabbed to death in her home in North Woodmere, New York, on July 20th, 1973. That morning, when her husband returned from a trip to the department store, he discovered his wife dead in the couple's master bathroom. None of the rooms outside of the bathroom showed evidence of a struggle. The 33-year-old mother of 3 suffered multiple lacerations to her skull, a fractured jaw, and a lacerated jugular vein. None of Sheila's neighbors reported anything strange around the time of her death, and the autopsy ruled out rape. Cottingham confessed to Sheila Hyman's murder in 2022. Now, sadly, for nearly 50 years, Sheila's husband was considered the prime suspect in his wife's murder.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and this poor guy was haunted and hounded over this for decades. And that's how this poor guy went to his grave.
He died before?
Yep. His name only being cleared after his death. It's fucking tragic, man.
Yeah. There's something about that right after you die that sucks. I mean, yeah, you found out, but the world knows now, but also you died thinking the other way, right?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's terrible. That one makes me have a drink.
It is a drink-worthy entry.
On December 27, 1973, the body of 18-year-old Maria Emerita Rosado Nieves was discovered in New Jersey, in a weedy area of Jones Beach, on the north side of Ocean Parkway, in a bus loading area. Right there, I was like, wait, what? Ocean Parkway? What? It's New Jersey, not Long Island, New York.
Right.
Like Rex Heuermann. Maria was strangled to death, and park maintenance workers found her body covered in plastic bags and wrapped in a gray blanket. Nieves was originally from Puerto Rico and lived in Manhattan prior to her murder, which went unsolved until 2022, when Cottingham finally confessed. And just so you know, in the show notes, Maria is the only victim I could not find a picture of. Just couldn't find it.
Okay.
So, just so you know. So he's really ramping it up on this one. On August 9th, 1974, in Ridgefield, New Jersey, teenagers Lorraine Kelly, 16, and Marianne Pryor, 17, were headed to the Jersey Shore for the day, but needed to buy bathing suits first. The girls were too young to have a driver's license, so they did what tons of people were doing in the mid-1970s. They decided to hitchhike. As you can imagine, fatal mistake.
Yeah.
Cottingham happened to drive by, and he picked up Lorraine and Marianne. And under the threat of doing them serious harm, if they didn't comply, he got them into a hotel room. Cottingham tied both girls to a bed, repeatedly raped them, tortured them, and beat them to a bloody pulp. It's believed he did this for a few days, actually, and he eventually drowned both girls in the hotel bathtub.
Really?
5 days after the girls went missing, on August 14, 1974, their bodies were discovered at a construction site in Montvale, New Jersey. Cottingham finally admitted to killing the 2 teens in 2021. And it seems these are the only killings that Cottingham showed any signs of regret for committing. He does not like talking about this crime for some reason. This one gets to him.
Wait, what do you mean for some reason? It's horrifying. And more horrifying than the rest. No offense to the rest, but like...
But he's a serial killer.
Days.
I mean, they love that shit.
It's days, underage.
Oh, it's terrible.
I'm just saying, it seems like to be a little worse.
So you're saying he even has a little conscience there?
He must.
Yeah.
He must. Yeah. Like, this is probably the one that gives him, if there's any crime so far, out of all of his that maybe gives him nightmares, might be this one.
It's possible, but wait. There's more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I know.
Marianne Carr. She was a married 26-year-old X-ray technician from Little Ferry, New Jersey. She was abducted on December 15th, 1977, from the Ledgewood Terrace apartments where Cottingham had once lived. Again, familiarity, right?
Right.
That day, Marianne was supposed to meet up with her mother-in-law, but she never showed up. Witnesses claim to have seen Marianne having a confrontation with a man in the parking lot of her apartment complex, presumably her killer, Cottingham. And that's where the abduction took place. Marianne was later found brutally beaten and strangled in the parking lot of a Quality Inn motel in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. She had severe ligature marks on her wrists and ankles, indicating that she was likely handcuffed at some point. There were ligature marks around her neck and traces of adhesive tape around her mouth. She had also been sexually abused, cut and bitten all over her chest and legs, and she was beaten with a blunt object. Cottingham was convicted of murdering Marianne Carr in 1982. Getting into Gold Star territory now.
Okay.
This victim's name is Didi Godzari. On December 2nd, 1979, Didi Godzari, a 22-year-old Kuwaiti immigrant who worked as a prostitute, along with another unidentified woman, were brutally murdered by Richard Cottingham in a hotel room at the Travel Inn Motor Hotel in Times Square. Employees noticed smoke pouring out from under the door of room 417. The fire department was called, and when they entered the room, when they bust into the room, they found 2 bodies burning, one on each twin bed. When one of the firemen attempted mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on one of the bodies, he discovered that the body was headless. Cottingham beheaded Didi Godzari, cut off her hands, and set her body on fire. He did the exact same thing to the other unidentified woman. Cottingham loaded both women's heads and hands into a duffel bag, and he nonchalantly walked out of the hotel room. And he walked through Times Square with his duffel bag. And get this, he was stopped by police for his own safety. Remember, Times Square is fucked up at this time. Because Times Square at this time in history was notoriously dangerous, right? We talked about this, especially at night. So cops stopped him for his own safety, saying, "You get out of here, white guy in fucking Times Square."
I was going to say, he's probably because
carrying
a white
a duffel
guy.
bag, right? Now, Cottingham was convicted of both Dee Dee's murder and the Jane Doe's murder, the other woman, in 1984. Now, it is worth noting that Didi Godzari's case gained attention in recent years due to her daughter, Jennifer Weiss, forming an unlikely alliance, a friendship, with Richard Cottingham in order to complete what Jennifer calls her quest. Now, growing up, Jennifer didn't know who her biological mother was, but she discovered Dee Dee's name in old newspaper clippings, which led her to learn about who her mother was and her mother's horrific fate.
Yeah.
And then to Cottingham. Now, you'd be right to ask how someone could befriend a man that beheaded their mother. I asked the same question. But as Weiss puts it, quote, "Everybody deserves to be forgiven. The magnitude of what he did is unfathomable, but I became friends with Richard for my mother's sake and for my quest," end quote. Mm-hmm. You see, Jennifer's extraordinary goodwill is motivated by a tragic wish to find her mother's skull. In that dingy motel room back in 1979, Cottingham packed Dee Dee's head and hands into that duffel bag and left the hotel, and the macabre mementos were never seen again. And to date, despite their odd friendship, Cottingham has never revealed to Weiss what he did with their mother's head. It's so fucking crazy. Now, you can check the show notes. You'll see a picture of Jennifer Weiss, Dee Dee Godzari's daughter, messing around with Cottingham. Go check this picture out. The picture looks like an attractive woman strangling Santa Claus and clowning for the camera. It's exactly what it looks like. And it would be a disgusting picture if you didn't understand the context, what Jennifer's trying to do and why she's doing it. Befriend to try to find her mother's skull. Hopefully Cottingham will show some humanity and give Jennifer the location of her mother's skull before he departs our sweet world. because this guy looks like absolute shit these days. He's not doing well.
Well, I can imagine that. But also, like, since it's Exodus of Confessions in 2022, and if he hasn't come out with it, it's possible he's, I don't want to say negging, that's not the right term. He's probably not telling her because he doesn't remember.
That could be too.
Feels like double shitty about it. Like, I don't fucking remember. You wasted all your time.
Or I love the attention.
But I love the attention.
Pretty woman,
right?
And
I was thinking that when you mentioned about this cop that befriended him, too.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not gonna say the obvious sentence that most people think of when people think of a serial killer or any kind of killer is that they're heartless and they deserve nothing and they don't feel anything. That's not true. That's not true. There are people in there. A lot of them, not all of them. All of them are sociopaths. Not all of them feel nothing, right?
Yeah.
Most of them feel something. And based on the way this guy doesn't want to talk about that one double murder, I would say he does feel something. He's not on the spectrum of complete psychopath. So maybe I wouldn't say he's just doing it to have attention. But every human needs attention,
True.
So I'm not saying we shouldn't blame him. I'm just saying I understand if that's what he's doing. And that's weird, but I think he forgot. I feel like he would have said it by now. Because he's confessed to all this stuff,
We'll see. I mean, again, he is not doing well.
Right.
He's not doing well, so maybe
deathbed.
Maybe he'll give it up a deathbed.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe.
Unfortunately, we still have more victims. Next, there's Valerie Ann Street, age 19, found dead on May 5th, 1980, under a bed at a Quality Inn in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. The very same hotel Marianne Carr's body was found 2 years earlier in the parking lot. Valerie Street had checked into room 132 using the alias Shelley Dudley, and she was accompanied by Cottingham. Later, when a maid named Delia was cleaning up room 132, she nearly tripped on an arm sticking out from under the bed. Delia had unknowingly walked into a horrific crime scene when she discovered Valerie's crumpled, naked body stuffed underneath that nasty, overused bed. Valerie's body showed obvious signs of torture, including ligature marks on her throat, lacerations on her breasts, and angry red cuff marks around her wrists. Valerie had recently been arrested for prostitution in Miami, and she was last seen being picked up by a man in New York City near Times Square. The discovery of Street's body at the Quality Inn marked a significant event in Cottingham's series of crimes because, unbeknownst to Cottingham, he left a fingerprint in that hotel room. Cottingham was convicted of murdering Valerie Ann Street in 1981. Tell me how that is a fear of mine. When I go to hotel rooms, I always look under the beds. I try to look under the beds because now there's usually
because of stories like this?
Because of stories like this, absolutely.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I don't.
What is your so you don't fear the under the bed thing?
No, I think the last time I genuinely had that fear was probably I was a child, honestly.
Okay.
I've never, legit, it's probably the last time.
Right.
That's how long, it's been so long that I can't remember the last time. Well, I mean, I've seen them in creepy stuff before, like Poltergeist, being a creepy ass scene for sure that I remember.
The clown.
I'm sure there are others. I think Lights Out, the movie, had a few under the bed stuff that was super creepy. But nothing like, no. I don't have that. As an adult, no, I don't.
You know what got me on it? Now, why I always look under beds?
What?
Pet Cemetery. Gage Creed.
I'm guessing you don't mean the new one. You mean the old one.
I said Jade Creed.
I don't know who that is.
Sounds like a stripper.
It does.
The little boy's name was Gage Creed.
Gage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pet Cemetery.
Who names a kid Gage?
He reaches out.
Hey, can you read that yourself? Can you read yourself and tell me the number? Because it's a Gage. So dumb.
Boo. When that kid reaches out from under the bed and slices Fred Gwynn, fucking Herman Munster's ankle. Ooh.
What is it
or
with
Achilles.
Achilles
or whatever
heel.
the fuck you call it, yeah.
What is it with people being afraid of that?
Oh.
Why is that so horrifying to people?
To get your Achilles cut?
Yeah. Why is that so
Because
horrifying?
it cripples you. Like, it takes out everything.
There's plenty of horrible
It's a main
things.
tendon.
But there's plenty of other way more horrible things to happen.
Fuck, I don't know.
I'm just saying, I hear
horrible.
that. I hear that a lot. I hear people, oh yeah, you're not the first. You're the 51st, 501st. You remember, what's that Rob Zombie movie?
House of a Thousand Corpses?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Hostel. Oh, I think Hostel was bigger.
Did they cut the Achilles in Hostel?
Yes.
Did
and
they?
people were like, oh, remember that scene? I'm like, bitch, I've seen worse on Tuesday. Fuck you.
Tuesday.
I've seen worse in this other movie and 3 other movies. Like, what are you talking about? How is this a big... It's a nanosecond of a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is this a thing? Come on,
I think for me it was the combination of a child under the bed and then cutting that Achilles.
Oh no,
it was so bad.
You're fine. You're a lost costume. But no, I'm kidding.
Thanks.
You're fine. I'm
Forgot
kidding.
my birthday too.
I did.
On May 15th, 1980, the mutilated body of a 25-year-old prostitute named Jean Rayner was found at the Sayville Hotel on East 29th Street in New York. At 8 o'clock that morning, employees discovered Rayner's hotel room filled with smoke. Upon entering the room, it was discovered that Cottingham had unleashed unimaginable torment onto this helpless victim. Jean Rayner was found strangled, with her body indicating signs of torture, assault, and mutilation. Rayner's throat had been mercilessly slit, and shockingly, Cottingham removed both of her breasts. And in a truly demented display, he left the detached breasts on the bed's headboard for all to see. And before leaving the hotel room, Cottingham lit the mattress on fire. He was convicted of Rayner's murder in 1984.
That's a hell of an escalation, by the way.
Fuck, dude.
From strangling in bushes to setting and dismembering on fire.
Decapitating, cutting off breasts, making a display.
That's. And that comes from just not being caught for so long.
Brazen, yeah. Or just, it just does, like drugs. Hey, weed's not doing it anymore, so let me fucking slam this heroin in my
That's not how.
cock. But it's the escalation, right? It's just you need more and more.
Usually it's more of the same. Like I'll try a little bit of cocaine once a week, and then it's every day. That's
right. It's an escalation.
That's more.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
He's bored. He needs more to get off. Because remember, sex equals violence. Violence equals sex. Sort of thing.
To them, yeah, for sure.
Now, in the early morning hours of May 22nd, 1980, May 22nd is my birthday.
Wasn't that like yesterday? Hold on. It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Almost 2 days
ago. Probably
ago.
remember that going forward.
Really?
It's May 23rd right now.
I have the ability to put that on my phone, and I'm not doing it.
I know. In the early morning hours of my birthday, 1980, Cottingham picked up 18-year-old Leslie Ann Odell.
Shit, you were 18 at that time, too.
Shut the fuck up. And she was soliciting sex on the corner of Lexington Avenue and 25th Street in Manhattan. Cottingham and Odell negotiated money for sex, but they decided to go out for some drinks first. And as Odell loosened up, she confided in Cottingham that she was in a really bad situation with her piece of shit pimp, and that she desperately wanted out of her current situation. Now, Cottingham, playing the role of someone who wants to help a woman in distress, offered to drive Odell out of New York, get her on a bus, and help her get back home to her hometown of Olympia, Washington. Little did Leslie Odell know that the monster she ran into would turn out to be 10 times worse than her piece of shit pimp.
Right.
Now, before taking her to the bus station, which he never intended to do in the first place, Cottingham asked Leslie if she, would you mind completing our transaction first before I take you to the bus station? Such a Superman savior, this guy, right? Leslie agrees. So around dawn, Richard Cottingham and Leslie Odell checked into the same Hasbrook Heights Quality Inn where Cottingham had left Valerie Ann Street and Mary Ann Carr's bodies in the past. Talk about confidence. He's returning to the scene of the crime for the third time.
Well, he's not getting caught. Why wouldn't he?
Exactly.
And also familiarity, it's big with this guy. More than most, maybe even. Yeah.
Now, once the two were inside room 117, Cottingham offered to give Leslie a massage. And she agreed, got onto the bed, and rolled onto her stomach, awaiting a little pampering.
Right.
Cottingham straddled her back, and immediately he drew a knife and stuck it to her throat. He slapped a pair of handcuffs on her wrists, and then pulled out a gun and pointed at her, while calling her a whore and saying, "You have to take it. The other girls did. You have to take it too. You're a whore, and you have to be punished." Then he began torturing her, slicing her with the knife, beating her with a belt, and he nearly bit off one of her nipples. Jesus. But luckily, Leslie was a fighter, and at one point, when one of her hands was freed from the handcuffs, Leslie lunged for the gun and tried to shoot Cottingham. But the gun was a fucking prop. It was a fake. So Leslie began to shout, "Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no!" which drew the attention of a hotel worker. Because believe me, the hotel staff were already uneasy and on high alert.
Especially hotels. Motels, just, all these murders on beds, on fire and shit. And,
right. They're on high alert because of these previous murders of Mary Ann Carr and Valerie Ann Street, right? So the hotel's assistant manager began banging on that door. And Leslie opened up the door just a bit. She was able to, but the chain lock was still on. So she opened the door just enough to sneak her hand through, allowing her to make some hand signals to the manager that something was wrong. Even though out loud, she was saying everything was okay. The manager picked up on Leslie's nonverbal cues and the police were called. Cottingham knew this was bad. He had to get the fuck out of Dodge, so he dressed in his cute little businessman suit with a fake gun in one hand and a briefcase-like attaché case in the other. Cottingham fled down the hallway, but he was quickly apprehended by a shotgun-wielding cop. And that's it. With that, the Times Square killer's reign of terror ended. Once the police discovered what was in his attaché case, handcuffs, black garbage bags, a leather gag, slave collars, a switchblade knife, ankle cuffs, replica pistols, and a stockpile of prescription pills, the cops knew they finally had their man. Now, it didn't take long for a search warrant to be issued for Richard Cottingham's Lodi, New Jersey home, and police executed a meticulous search of the property. The search led investigators to a locked basement, where a startling array of items were discovered: handcuffs, explicit artwork, a leather gag, more slave collars, and a switchblade. None of these things are illegal to own, of course, nor are they indicative of a serial killer. However, police also found a trophy room, a room Cottingham always prohibited his wife and kids from entering. This trophy room...
His man cave.
Yeah, his sick man cave.
Right.
Now, this trophy room contained all sorts of artifacts belonging to murdered women. A lot of killers keep trophies so they could kind of relive that excitement of their nasty crimes at a later time.
For sure.
And relive them again and again and again. And Cottingham, he was no different.
Right.
Now, it's the discovery of this trophy room that hammered the final nail in Cottingham's coffin, and the public could finally put a face to the Times Square killer, the monster. Between 1981 and 1984, Richard Cottingham was charged with murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault in connection with 5 different women, 2 in New Jersey and 3 in New York. That would be Valerie Street, Mary Ann Carr, Didi Guzzari, Jean Rayner, and the unidentified Jane Doe found beheaded and burnt in the hotel room
next
along
to
with Didi.
The twin bed thing, yeah.
All said and done, after his initial convictions back in the early 80s, coupled with his confessions decades later, including a confession I just read about from March 2023, where Cottingham confessed to killing a 17-year-old girl named Mary Ann Della Sala in Hackensack, New Jersey in January 1967, which makes Della Sala Cottingham's actual earliest victim, not Nancy Shieva Vogel, who he murdered in October of 1967. Plus his convictions on non-murder charges, rape, sexual assault, shit like that. So all in, Cottingham was given multiple life sentence. By my count, he's in for well over 300 years. And he never really gave a reason as to why he committed his crimes. He told investigators that he enjoyed getting away with his horrible crimes each time he did, that he liked the thrill of literally getting away with murder. That, and he once simply said that he has a problem with women.
Well, I mean,
that's it.
That's what gets him off. I mean, why is this? There's no rhyme or there's no grand reason.
No, that's all he's given over the years.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is what makes him come. That's how most of these guys are. Yeah. That's all it is. Obviously it stemmed from a lot of shit and all that. Yeah, you can keep going, digging that rabbit hole. But that's where it starts and ends in a lot of ways. There's no real reason. There's no hate to the world that betrays them. Like, no,
when something like this happens, people want a reason. They want a reason.
You mean a reason beyond the obvious that he gets off on it? Yeah. That's it. That's all you need. It's like, whatever. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm fine with that reasoning, but it makes sense that that's the main reason. Like, what else could it be? Like, we'll try hard to not kill someone?
Right, yeah.
God forbid. do that every day. No. I'm kidding. I was going to say something to that. You know what? That first murder, I don't remember anymore the details. And now you don't have to go back. But it did seem, I don't want to say it seemed practiced, but it didn't feel like his first.
Yeah, it probably wasn't.
I forgot to mention that, actually.
It probably wasn't.
That makes sense. No, I mean, like, maybe, I don't know about this earliest one.
It definitely wasn't, because we just found that there wasn't saying earlier.
When you first told it, I'm like, yeah, it didn't seem like a first.
You were right.
Because he does a few car ones, then he does a few impromptu opportunities type ones where they're using their own straps on the street, doesn't matter. And then he finds out he can get away with it so fast.
From the flag,
the bus stops and shit. And he's like, how far can I go? Can I behead them? Can I put them on fire? Can I do it in hotels and just keep doing it? You know?
Same place.
Also, like, I'm surprised that it took this many, I mean, at least a third for sure, hotel motel murder, that no one heard anything, gave a shit, you know. Before that, seems like...
Yeah, how do you behead someone and no one hears it in a hotel? That's fucking crazy, dude.
How indeed?
Well, you know, these kind of hotels, people, they stick to themselves. A lot of the people there are probably...
I understand that anonymity is a big thing.
They want their anonymity, exactly.
Right. I know that's a big thing, but...
I know. But we're thinking about rational...
It took hand gestures from a slit on the door, not her screaming her head off all that time. You know?
Well, that's what triggered him to come.
Yeah, but that's still... She needed to do that? No, 911 immediately, right? But no, it's crazy. I'm not saying I think we're a little better about that now, I would hope. I don't know. But that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm to the end here.
Okay.
Now, after one of his early trials, Cottingham tried to kill himself by slicing his wrists with broken glass from his eyeglasses, actually.
So he broke his own glass? Oh, okay.
And tried to kill himself. And while in prison, he attempted suicide again by trying to OD on medication. I think it was antidepressants.
Okay.
Now, today, Richard Cottingham, he's still alive. He's 78 years old. He's in very poor health. And he has absolutely no possibility of parole.
Well, no.
He'll die in prison, and good riddance when it finally happens. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder. So, obviously, the police were looking for this serial, but they only knew and probably were only chasing a guy who killed two. Well, who committed 2 crimes with 3 people because he killed 2 at once. But like these hotel-specific fire decapitation type murders, that's when people authorities actually took notice. No way anybody was looking for him and those other previous murders, because strangulation seems to be like top-tier reason to kill someone to begin with.
Yeah, there's really no...
And also not connecting the New Jersey murders either.
Right.
All that must have been so surprised seeing like, oh shit, this guy's been killing from it.
Right. Fuck. Like, there's never an indication that early on they thought we're dealing with a serial killer.
Right. I wonder if they were thinking like, well, we caught him before he killed so many. And like, nope, he killed many. You just didn't know about it.
There's more too.
Right.
He says 100. Some investigators believe. I don't know if it's that high. I definitely think there's more. I definitely think there's more that we don't know about.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 100 either, though. I think if there's more...
It could be, again, going to New York of that era.
I know that
there was a lot of desperation, a lot of people down and out.
I give him another dozen, personally.
There could have been a lot of easy pickings, man, which is really sad, but it could be that high. Who knows?
Yeah.
This was a fucking sick, deranged individual who blended in perfectly.
Right, because of how ridiculously normal he was.
Yeah, right. The quote. No one saw this guy coming, Which is terrifying. It's fucking terrifying.
Even the way he was a serial killer, he was a ridiculously normal serial killer.
No, I don't think he was.
No, he was. I'm saying a very, like, trophy room, like...
Oh, but when it gets to decapitation...
Familiarity.
Cutting off the breast.
Oh, I don't mean, like... I meant, like, his what gets him there.
I see.
I guess.
So that's the Times Square killer. Richard Cottingham, the torso killer.
Was he called that before he was caught? Like
Times
in the newspaper?
Square killer? I don't believe so.
Okay, it was after the fact?
That came after the fact. Once they started piecing everything together.
Yeah.
Crazy, though.
Not as many Times Square killings, though, as you imagine.
No, to be nicknamed the Times Square killer.
Right.
Right. So, final thoughts?
No, I think I said it. I think I gave my final. Anything particular with you? Like,
no, I'm good. I need to go rinse off. This makes me feel dirty talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oscar, take us home, you beautiful man.
Oh, thank you.
TikTok or Instagram and seen these whiskey bottles in the shape of like Jaws or Jack Torrance or there was another one. Have you seen them?
No, I get nothing alcohol related.
Katie got me the Jaws one for my birthday, and
Was your birthday recently?
yeah, yesterday.
Is it yesterday, really?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm sorry. Happy birthday. I didn't know that. But then, to be fair, I don't think Have I ever celebrated your birthday?
Probably.
I don't know.
Like on the day?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe not on the day.
Yeah. You know, I usually rely on... In the old days, I would rely on Facebook.
Oh, you don't go on Facebook anymore?
I don't do it anymore, so I don't know anybody's birthday no more, you know? By the way, I recommend... I don't know if you're a fan, but I recommend the new Final Destination.
I really want to see it.
It's really fun.
I like them all.
It's really good. I do like them all, too. They're all on HBO right now.
Are they?
All 5, 6, whatever it is. 5.
So this new one was good?
Yeah, very good. Very cool. They do a spin on the whole thing. They have their own kind of take on it, but they stay within the universe.
Really?
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. 2 or 3 pretty gruesome kills. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, yeah. That's cool. A whole head gets fucking smashed. So.
I think one of the coolest kills I've seen lately was in that horrible movie where it was like from Jason's point of view.
You're talking, yeah. You're talking about the a violent nature.
That's it. Yeah, that was probably the coolest kill I've seen lately.
Yeah, that was cool.
Are you recording right now?
Yeah.
The voices sound fine.
So no N words.
Right.
Yeah. You sound fine. I would have said otherwise.
It does sound okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
No, you sound good. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I really liked it. I do highly recommend. It's not like my favorite or anything, but it's up there, man. It's like 2 or 3. It's really good. Pretty good. What was I gonna say? It made me think of a lot. Yeah, it made me want to rewatch the whole series, and I did. So that was fun. I've been playing this badass new game, but it's not horror, so I don't know if you'll care. I've been playing this puzzle game. I've been addicted to it lately. It's a puzzle game where you're an heir to an inheritance, a mansion, or an estate, actually, an estate. And the whole time you're playing is that you're part of the conditions of the inheritance, if you want it, is that you have to explore this massive house. But every day is different. Every day when you open a new door, it's going to be a different room. One of 3 possibilities that you can choose. You basically lay out the mansion as you go.
Wow.
And it's like each room will have a puzzle sometimes. And there's grander puzzles overall that you have to figure out and solve. There's a lot of history about the family and stuff. A lot of interesting puzzles too. Like there's a boiler room that you have to connect to power up this thing, to power up that room. You know.
Like escape room almost.
Yeah, it is. Escape room mansion style.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I've been addicted. Like, dude, I just figured out how to drain the reservoir. I'm like, I can't wait to explore that. I almost didn't come. And there's a real hustle game down there. The taxi hustle game, it's crazy.
Really?
It must be how women feel being catcalled. I felt like, Jesus, I'm taken. I already have a taxi.
Did you speak Spanish pretty much the whole time you were down there, or did you speak English?
No, in the resort, not very often. I mean, to the employees, sure, when I was at their shops, so yeah, of course. But like in general, no. Everyone there speaks English.
Yeah.
It's all white people, different types of white people.
And when you talk to the workers, shop vendors, and you spoke their language, were they more cool with you? Did they give you deals or anything, or they're just like...
They seem nicer about it.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, overall, but not. I didn't get any special treatment that I noticed.
Yeah, I was just curious.
You know, they just care if you tip them or not, I guess.
Yeah, right.
That's really it.
I thought maybe they'd be like, one of us.
No, I don't think so.
Gobble, gobble.
I don't think so. But I also didn't notice a lot of Hispanics that were there on vacation either. But that makes sense, I guess. Why would they go there if they actually live there, right?
That'd be like us vacationing to Gurney or some shit.
But also, we do vacation. You went to New Orleans all the time, right? That's in our own country, so it's not like out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
But yeah. Overall, no, I didn't notice many. No, I didn't get any special treatment. I made jokes with the towel girls every once in a while. No, not like that.
Why was I expecting like these crazy sexcapade stories with you?
No, I felt like, and not that I had to be tamed, but I never felt it. Like, I usually go with a vibe, and then if I don't feel it, I don't do anything.
I gotcha.
If I feel it, I'll do something. That's really how I work.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did not see many opportunities. A lot of people with families, though, also. It wasn't like only adults. There were only adult area, sure, like at night or whatever, but like...
And who got married? Cloud?
No, Greg. Remember Greg?
Yeah,
You
Greg.
played poker with him? Or
Yeah, like 30 years ago. Yes.
He got married.
Good.
To the girlfriend he had 30 years ago. Same girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And Raph went?
Yeah, he was the best man.
Was he really? Mm-hmm. Nice. And he didn't even have you stand up?
Have me?
Yeah.
Why?
The groomsman? Because you've known him for 30 years.
Oh, no, we're not friends like that.
Really? But you went to his wedding? Like a destination wedding?
I mean, well, I'm friends like that. I'm like, ugh. Like, way to give me... Like, that sucks. It's like flirting with them.
Sometimes they won't care.
No, I care.
Well, good. That's good.
I wouldn't before. I didn't for a long time, but I do now, And it's an overall thing. Like, it's too close to fucking where I eat, I mean, it's like, they know people that I know,
Yeah.
A complete stranger, I would never know that. Why would I care?
Right.
But, like,
right.
there's limits to
Don't
it.
shit where you eat.
Yeah. It's never good.
It's not. It's not.
It's more risque in a fun way, but it's not good.
Risque.
Risque.
You should come to Milwaukee with us tomorrow.
I would love to. I need to work. I need to make money. If I make a certain amount, I would love to come up.
Because it's, for my birthday and all.
For your birthday? Yeah.
Angelo Bono and Angelo Bono Jr. Let's stop. Mark it, can you?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate that guy's name.
You don't have to say it.
Where do I start?
Blah.
What would you say? Blassie?
It's the thing is that it's because in English language, we write different A's all over the place.
And again,
But it doesn't.
BLASE.
We don't explain those differences. Other languages they too try to explain. Blassie.
Blassie?
Blay. I don't think it's blay.
BLASE, mark above the E. What the fuck does that mean?
Blase.
Blassie. We're going to say Irene Blassie.
Yeah, maybe like that.
Done.
But that's the thing is other languages do try to explain their differences on those vowels, but we don't.
No, we're going to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why no one likes our language either. So.
Blassie. We're going to say Blassie, right?
Yeah.
Blassie. Okay.
Blase.
Have you seen this new series called...
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Called, it's with Seth Rogen and...
The studio.
The studio, yeah.
I've heard great things. I'm going to start it. I just haven't seen it yet.
I resisted because I don't like that Rogen crew, like...
Oh, I thought you were going to say you don't like movies about movies.
No. Like Seth Rogen, James Franco, Dave Franco, like all that little fucking jerk off.
That click?
That click, I don't get into them, but it's a pretty good show.
So, you don't like Knocked Up, or This Is the End, or...
No, of course I do. I just don't want to like it.
You're resistant, even though you like it.
Yeah. This show's good.
I wonder if what's the equivalent of that? It's like admitting that you like All American Rejects, but you don't want to say it out loud, right?
Where the fuck did you pull that from?
Have you heard? Okay, so everyone's been bugging me about this. I saw on TikTok that they did a literally surprise out of the blue concert in someone's backyard in Chicago.
No way.
Not in Chicago, but like somewhere close to Chicago.
Recently?
Yeah, like less than 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And this was on my TikTok. I saw it once.
Huge.
Yeah, they're huge. I know they're huge.
Were.
Yeah, I mean, still to some people, whatever. They're huge. I know that. I saw my feed. I ignored it right away. I don't care shit about them. I never liked them. But I swear to God, my brother fucking comes up to me, or my old Starbucks employee friends come up to me. They're like, you see this video about All American Rejects? I don't give a fuck about the All American Rejects. I'm like, what makes you think this is newsworthy to me? So that's why I had it in my head.
Gotcha.
And like, why the fuck? Never bring me this weak ass news shit again. Start yelling. By the third person, sorry for that person. The third time I get told, I'm like, motherfucker, if you mention this. start getting angry at people for no reason. They're like, I just want to tell you, they came to Chicago. I'm like, who gives a fuck who comes to Chicago?
Fuck Chicago too.
Yeah.
And fuck you.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I thought it was. So like, who gives a? Oh man, they sound like every other band from that era too. I can't tell them apart. I really can't tell most of them apart.
There's nothing unique. You're right.
Plain White Tees, they sound the same. That band that did Smallville intro, they all sound the same to me, man. I kept saying like, did they do that song from Smallville? Like, no, that was this band. I'm like, fucking the same, bro. They look fucking sound the same 3 chords or whatever. It's nonsense. It's fucking anarchy.
Speaking of that, there's a cool kind of little punkish kind of bar in Milwaukee, kind of down the street from Shakers. Have you gone to Shakers with us? The haunted place.
I haven't. The only Milwaukee I've been with you is Pfister. That's the only time I've been to Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, there's a cool little punk bar. They got pool table, shitty drinks, but
yeah,
I think it's Fiserv Stadium.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're thinking of. So I'm going to start over with Valerie Ann Street.
Valerie on the street.
Valerie Ann Street.
I know.
Okay.
5432.